What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Dead Red Podcast here on another Thursday night. Be sure to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Sub up to me, sub up to Sox, sub up to Big B Reactions, and all the fun stuff. Shout out to Daniel Berry Sports. Shout outs to Jacob. He says, what up, brothers? Just know, Alex, I'm going to back. Let's see. I'm going to back you no matter what. Just take advantage. Yeah, no. I obviously posted that thing. Most of you can figure out who was the certain person I was talking about. But as I said, just if you want more information on it, just go to community notes. It's going to settle it there. It's not much to talk about on stream, but we got a busy sports weekend coming up. Busy sports, I would say, past few days. Today we had the trade deadline stream on my channel that my brother was hosting. Sox was a part of it as well. Some trades with the NBA involving both of our teams. You had, let's see what else is going on. We got pitchers and catchers reporting soon. We got the World Baseball Classic starting soon. The rosters have been announced. The Super Bowl's on Sunday, which I'm surprised I haven't I just blurted it out now with everything in front of it. We'll be making our predictions, going through the previews. We'll be ranking our top ballparks and doing a lot of different stuff. Your questions are going to help a lot, and comments as well. Help us get through the show, of course. But Sox, my man, how are you doing in all aspects of the sports world?
Yeah, doing good. Another thing coming out right now is the awards for the NFL year. I saw a few of those coming out. We can talk about that. So, a lot of cool stuff, including the NBA trade deadline. I wasn't thrilled with what the Celtics did, but it's time to start. It's time to start really putting the pedal to the metal for that Eastern Conference. So hopefully they're happy with what they got, because it's about it. Besides maybe adding Danny Green on the wing, but we'll see what happens. Just ready for that back end of the NBA season. So let's go. How you doing, bro?
Doing good. John says Sauce and Wilson are rookies of the year. Wow. All right. This morning, funny story. We were in our studio, as we would call it, for Terror TV, which is the reason why I wasn't on the stream. And they said Pepsi Rookie of the Year was Aiden Hutchinson. So I didn't know if that was the legitimate Rookie of the Year, and I told John, and he was pretty pissed off about it. But now he's happy about Sauce and Wilson being Rookie of the Year. And fun fact, thanks to our guy Taj on Twitter, he said the last time two rookies won Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year was Marshawn Lattimore and Alvin Kamara in 2017 with New Orleans Saints. Should the MLB have a Comeback Player of the Year award? It'd be interesting.
Why not? I think they should.
Why not? But I just feel like people will pay attention more to the NFL because the games aren't, it's not 162 games. It's, 17.
Yeah.
Bro, we had an example in my class about Coke versus Pepsi. I rep Pepsi, a new one. Well, I hope everybody ganged up on you and said, no, Pepsi is the real.
They did not.
I don't know, but wishful thinking. But we all know which one goes first in my mind, and which one is actually legitimately first. So, even though you guys tend to disagree with me in all aspects of that, I guess we could talk about the NFL awards, or maybe even get into our own mini predictions. I know they're coming out as we go along. Everyone said Coke. Well, that's a very sad day in America. Very sad day in America, because we all know Pepsi is better. But guys, share this out, do all the good stuff. We're on the road to 1K subscribers. Obviously, Sox is already at 1K. But, all that good stuff going on. Nobody says, can I have a Pepsi? I do, and a lot of other people do. Donald's a Pepsi guy. No Coke. No, absolutely. Yankee Stadium has Pepsi products, okay? That's why they're...
Makes sense.
Yeah, okay. So an immediate dig, but no, I'll gladly take that. I'll gladly take that. More options. But let's see. You know what? Let's get to our ballpark stuff. But then by that time, when we get all of our ballpark stuff done, they'll have the awards at least most of them out and all that sort of stuff. And then we can go into our Super Bowl preview in the second half of the show. But guys, once again, like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. So, I think you mentioned it at the tidbit of the last episode that you didn't have a fruitful experience at Dodger Stadium. You want to re-elaborate that for our fans? Just so
and I mean, I would definitely double down on what I said. I mean, for what it was, it was a game against the Nationals, so it was nice it was cool to see that even playing against almost the worst team in the MLB, that place was packed. It was pretty cool to see, but just the traffic was absolutely atrocious. There's about 2 roads to get to that place, and you got whatever it is, 15, 16, 17,000 people, if not more. I think Dodger Stadium holds, I think they hold almost 50,000. So, it was jam-packed. I think their neighbors in LA, Anaheim, have a much smoother ballpark, and I like that place even a lot more with the rocks in center field. It was a nice feeling being in such a historic building, but I wouldn't do it again.
Hey, shout out to Jets Smith. What is going on, my man? All right, so maybe you guys can help us out in the chat a little bit. And obviously, after this, if we still have time, we'll go over the World Baseball Classic rosters and some other stuff, and of course, your questions at the same time. But throw us a ballpark in the chat, and maybe we could see. Actually, you know what? Yeah, why not? Why don't you do that? But I think we could legitimately start. And now, obviously, we have not been to 30 ballparks. Excuse me, we have not been to 30 ballparks. I've only been to one, or actually, yeah, about one. I've been to the outside of one as well. I think that was in Philly, but I was driving past it. Shout out to Jeff Nelson. He goes, "Hey, fellas, how's your night going?" Going pretty well,
Jeff.
Pretty well. Hope you enjoyed the stream. But as I said, we haven't been to all 32, but we're just ranking them based on our perception of it, not the public's perception. And I want to ask you a question, Sox, because both teams are in the American League. And that question is, which ballpark, in your opinion, is worse? O.Co Coliseum? There's a new name for it. Or Tropicana Field.
So O.Co is Oakland, I'm assuming. In my perception, I've never been to a game at either. I would say I've heard a lot more worse things about Tropicana.
Okay. Jacob says, I'm trying to go to Fenway this year, and City might go to Subway Series in June. That's interesting. As I said, we're trying to cultivate a Boston trip ourselves in June, which, we'll be talking hopefully as we get closer to the date, organizing some stuff. But shouts to Jacob. Jeff says they say Coke for whatever they are drinking. As I said, I stand alone as the Pepsi fan. One day I got to come on here with a Pepsi shirt to reassert dominance of which soda is better. And also, if you guys are interested, you guys can update us on the NFL awards. I know John is probably scrolling through Twitter every single second. Shout out to Jester's Mess also. He just shared us out on Twitter, so appreciate that as well. So you think it's Tropicana that's worse?
The area in Oakland is probably worse, I'd say. But if we're talking purely ballpark, it's got to be that ugly roof.
It's just that both are like legitimately bad in their own ways, not just because of the ballpark, but because they're so unattractive that people don't want to go to them. But at the same time, Oakland has a worse team, and they're going to be out of there in 2 years probably.
Yeah.
So, damn. All right, chat. All right. Jeff says Tropicana Field is the worst. I've been there once. What a crap box. Pepsi is brutal. Come on, those tests are really obvious. I'm sorry, Pepsi for life. I think that's the top of the food chain. I'll always take it there. You know what? I think I'll agree slightly. I'll say Tropicana is the worst.
It's close.
It's very close. And then I think we could all agree that we're putting O.Co Coliseum at 29.
Yeah.
Okay. So, burping. That's from the Pepsi I had. That's the dominant soda. I'm going to take a look at the MLB standings just to get a glimpse of, where we're going in terms of this. All right. What are some other pretty shit? You want to go two empty stadiums? That is correct, John. Do you want to go on like baseball stadiums that we really like, or things, or because I feel like the top two worst stadiums we basically just went over already, and then the others are mid to below average, but we can think of like really nice stadiums that we'd probably put at the top of our list. So you want to go nice, or the chat can throw us a couple suggestions as well. I mean,
I think the chat should just start naming some random ballparks, and we should place them where we think they should go.
Okay, all right. But I'll throw one out here while the chat is gathering top ballparks. Let's go with Miami. Shouts to Jeffrey in the chat. Miami. I forget what they're called. I used to like, just because of the throwback and the nostalgia, I kind of liked Hard Rock a little bit more. I don't know if it was once called Marlins Field or whatever, but Hard Rock, I've been to Hard Rock as the Dolphin Stadium, but I don't know where I would place. What is your perception of Marlins Stadium?
I think it was cool when they, with all the, aquariums and shit behind home plate and all that. I that's one of the ones that I'd probably put at the top without being there. I feel like it might be boring looking from the outside if I'm not mistaken, but that's one I'd put mid to top.
Okay. All right. All right. That's certainly one. I'd probably put it in mid, but I'd have to consider some other ones. Obviously, yeah, we've agreed at the top two bottom ones, but obviously
we should work our way up from the bottom too. Like just decide who's the next.
I'm just trying to think of what stadiums are probably the worst, even though we've basically named the two.
Milwaukee.
Right. Milwaukee's like the 20s, I would say. Milwaukee is definitely consideration. It's been there for years. I kind of land on a nostalgic factor with certain things. But I guess before we go into like saying, oh, this is my number 5, apparently Sox Jason Tatum got hurt.
I hope it's not serious. I didn't see that.
Yeah, thank you for letting us know, Jeffrey. But let me just see if we got any other updates. It looks like not in terms of the NFL awards. We could say, shouts to Cookus, by the way. We could probably organize
what's up, Cookus?
Best ballparks and then rank them, and then worst ballparks and then set them down. So best ballparks, in your opinion, without ranking them. I think Pittsburgh has to be on the list. I think PNC Field has to be on the list. You know what I think is overrated, though? Actually, not PNC Field. It's PNC Park. I think it's called Oracle Park now in San Francisco. I think that's vastly overrated.
I think it's probably overrated too, although the ability to hit the ball out in the water, the people kayak in I think it's pretty cool.
I just think the scenery is better in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you still get the water effect, and honestly, bridge. Cincinnati too. You see a beautiful bridge and water from Cincinnati too. I think you're probably right.
Ben McAdoo just got fired as the Carolina OC apparently. So thank you, Jeffrey. Jacob. We got a couple of J's in the chat. Jeffrey, Jacob. But thank you for that one.
Jets mess.
John, Jets mess. A couple of J's in the chat tonight. The most nostalgic stadium field I've ever been to was Bosse Field in Indiana. It's where they filmed A League of Their Own. Evansville used to play there. Thank you for the note, Jeff. Where do y'all rank Minute Maid Park? And this is an Astros fit. I think Minute Maid is probably my top 15. I never really.
I could agree with that.
I was about to say I'm not putting like the Astros are a team, and this is me, a Yankee fan, saying this, where it's just like they've dominated us so many times. I don't really hate them because I can't hate them because we got nothing against them in terms of more like a vendetta rather than a reason to hate them or a reason to talk shit on them. So top 15, I think I'm going to put that in my top 15, but top 10, top 5 maybe goes PNC Park. The center field wall kind of make it look better. One that pissed me off though is when they put the wall in left field of the Orioles Stadium, Camden Yards. That's what pissed me off, but obviously we'll get to that. Alex, my college roommate, is the manager for Pittsburgh. He raves about it. Derek Shelton, I think his name is, if I'm not mistaken. The manager for Pittsburgh. But he used to be on those commercials for the hit stick. I remember that because nostalgic. But so I think PNC Park definitely goes with the best. You say
Petco's got to be.
I like Petco. I do. I do like Petco Park.
I think Chase Field has to be up there too.
Chase Field. I actually like Chase Field. I know they have a pool there, right?
Yeah, pool in center field.
Chase Field. I'll give them credit for that one. I think it's very good. So we got 3 so far. It makes no sense for them to push because I mean you're just not drawing free agents. You're actually just saying pushing them out the door. Jeffrey says as far as Tatum, it's an illness, so he'll be fine from that, whether he plays or whether he doesn't play. But we got PNC, we got Petco, and we have Chase. Okay, what other ballparks come to mind? You know what I think is another overrated stadium that I just never got the fascination with? Wrigley.
I agree.
It's just like, it's old, but doesn't mean it's good.
I agree. I think it'd be cool to see one game there. I never got the hype over it.
Yeah. For me, there is something I don't like about Chase Field. Oakland, we did discuss, Jacob. It's actually at number 31 on our list. So, let's see.
I'd put Cincinnati in my top 10.
Great American Ballpark. Yep. I'd probably agree on that one. I put it in my top 15. So I'm going to label that for myself, top 15. Let's see. Chase Field probably being my top 10 to top 15. Okay. And then PNC Park and all those different things. Minute Maid Park is absolutely a joke. And right field at Yankee Stadium is brutal. Who was the left-handed bat who played for the Yankees and went to the Cards? He was not good in St. Louis. Making me think here, Jeff. Lefty bat, went to the Cards, didn't do well. Shit. Let's see. Oh yeah, John pulling out the inside jokes, but I gotta explain that one to Sox at some point. I think we covered it backstage a little bit because of a different situation, but we're gonna reiterate it to the fans just because Rogers Center I think would be in my top 15. I don't think it's in my top 10. I mean, I'll look at other stadiums, but I think it's in my top 15. Where do you fall with Rogers Center?
I think Rogers Center would be in my bottom 15.
Okay, all right.
I think the cool thing is the building that the big tall building that you can see from when the roof is open there. I like retractable roofs a lot.
You think the Yankees will sign Manny to play third next year? I hope so. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Listen, he can be a little bit of a diva, but Manny Machado is he's one of the best ball players in our era right now. I mean, he had a great comeback season this year. So, let's see. But to explain this story, basically, we were having a discussion in chat in our class, and our professor's like, so this guy was arguing with me one time that the Yankees and the Red Sox were playing in the World Series. And he says, no, that's not possible because they can't play in the World Series. So they literally had a debate about that. And then someone chips in and says, basically, I kind of get that same vibe in Chicago because the White Sox and the Cubs can't play each other, which is incorrect. And I'm surprised that a Chicago resident would get that wrong. He was a stocky little white guy. Can't think of his name. I'm actually going to take time to look this up. Cardinals players. Got to be somewhere in. All right. Wait, can you tell me which era it was in, maybe? That referring to Jeff in the chat, because that would be some help. No, Berkman did not. Did he play for the Cardinals after the Yanks? Maybe he did. Lance Berkman. Let's see. He did, but that very well could actually be the player. He was also a former Stro. Skinny little white guy. I mean, he was white. 6'1". So very well could be the guy you're talking about. Coors Field looks awesome. I would put Coors Field in my top 10. Sox, let me know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I would probably put it in my top 10 as well.
Top 10 for Coors Field. All right. I've been to many ballparks. Can't talk tonight, but never been to Wrigley. Let's see. As I said, I don't really get the obsession with Wrigley other than it's fucking old. Probably late 80s, early 90s was not Lance Berkman. I thought you were referring to the new stadium right field, but the old stadium. As I said, I will cherish the old stadium, even though I don't know. I mean, even though I wasn't there. Brian Dable gets Coach of the Year.
Did he?
According to Jacob, let's take a look. Just checking on Twitter.
I thought they'd give it to Sirianni, man. I really did.
Let's take a look. Gonna refresh the Twitland one more time. Brian Dable is Coach of the Year. That's correct.
Let's go. Well deserved, man. I'm so happy for that guy.
Awesome. Brian Dable, Coach of the Year. For 2 seconds, I thought he was going to get robbed. I'm like, Now the next one that I think would probably go on the list to any related Giants is Comeback Player of the Year, and I think Saquon is on one of those on the list.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling McCaffrey's going to win it because of the way he resurged in San Francisco. So
I agree.
Then again, the Giants' first 7 weeks of the season relied on Saquon as the offense. So I can't wait to see what happens when it comes to Comeback Player of the Year. I think his name started with an M. We'll definitely do some research on that. Players that played for Cardinals and Yankees. Late 80s, early 90s. Players who played, let's see. Okay, I think I could do this. Players who played with multiple, let's say, franchise 1, St. Louis Cardinals, franchise 2, the New York Yankees. Okay, so franchise 3, find players played for only these franchises. Okay, so I think he said with an M. Booyah's a Cowboys fan. Of course. We're both Giant fans, by the way, Booyah. So Tino Martinez. How did I forget? How could I not pick that out? But yeah, Martinez went to the Cardinals, I think, after his first tenure with the Yankees. Came back in 2005 with the Yankees. But Tino's one of my favorite Yankees that I never got to see play in his prime. So Tino Martinez. How would you rank Busch Stadium? I forget what it is. Busch Stadium, Busch Field, Cardinals Stadium. I would say mid. I'm not too impressed by it, but it's not like one of the worst.
Top 15.
Okay. All right. So
very mid though. I'd say 15. Put it at 15 for me.
All right. So I'll put it down as mid. Covered Rogers Center. Someone said, do you guys play fantasy football? I had 8 leagues this year. I don't remember if I won a championship in one of them. I think I did. I don't remember. No, I didn't. That's right. I didn't. Jacob says Safeco. I'd say top 15 Safeco.
I've been there, and it's cool.
Shit.
I saw Nelson Cruz destroy a baseball over my head. I haven't seen a home run like that ever in my life.
What, at Safeco?
At Safeco. We're talking Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nelson Cruz hit a ball over my head, and I was almost at the top of the stadium. It was insane. I would put it in my top 15.
Yes. Jeffrey says, Alex, hopefully you go to Fenway once. Yeah, as I said, we're planning on it this summer. Hopefully we get a couple of things done, and hopefully I know that Jacob lives. I mean, as I said, you guys come out if you want to when it's official, but I know Jacob says he lives in Connecticut, and I know Jeffrey's also out there. We also have a few other friends in that area, so just some notes on that. But let's go through some more stadiums while we're at it. How do you feel? It's not Turner Field anymore. What the hell is it called?
Minnesota?
The one in Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. It is called. Isn't it like some Sun Energy
Truist
Stadium?
Park.
Truist Park.
Truist Park.
How
do you feel about that? How do you feel about
honestly, I think it's like kind of overhyped, but it's also not really hyped at all. So I'm gonna put it bottom 15.
Okay. I'm gonna put it within my top 20. Truist Park. So I'm gonna say Truist Park. Truist Park.
Let's do Target Field.
Bottom
10.
I'd go like upper 20s, and that's not saying a lot. I just Target Field, upper 20s. Let's see. Got Target Field, Citi Field. Kauffman Stadium actually would be my top 10. I really like Kauffman Stadium.
If I don't have 10 already, I would put them in top 10.
Okay, so right now, here's my top 10. Obviously not organized, and we haven't at least I don't have a legitimate 10 yet. PNC Park, Petco, Safeco, Kauffman Stadium, and Coors Field. Booyah has a question for Sox. What do you think about Masataka Yoshida? How do you think he will do this year for the Sox?
I think he's going to do really well. The potential's there. I think he's going to hit the baseball well. Brings the defense as well. So I haven't seen a turnaround like on the Sox like I have in the last couple of years. So it's going to be interesting. I'm excited.
All right. So Kauffman Stadium would be my top 10. Citi Field. Citi Field would be in my lower, I would say top 20.
I haven't been there, but same here. I don't really.
It's Yeah. So low, I would say low 20s to top 20. That's what I'm putting mine in. It's another one, Comerica Park.
That's in my top 15.
I go like top 20, low 20s. Kind of. I feel better about Comerica slightly than Citi Field.
Me too.
But as I said, so Comerica Park for me would be low 20s to top 20. Okay. Shout out to Anthony Medina. What is going on? Let me just shut off this dryer.
Yeah, you guys got stories of your ballparks that you've been to? Ballparks that you like? Let it fly, man.
Well, listen. So here's what we got. Jeff says the old Tiger Stadium was really cool. My college teammate pitched there, Sean Bergman. Watched him pitch there. Kauffman Stadium is an absolute great place to watch baseball. That is very interesting to know. I would want to go to Kauffman Stadium.
I have a my grandpa who passed away quite a few years ago now. He was a big Tigers fan, and then when they destroyed the old Tiger Stadium, that spot is still there if I'm not mistaken. And he went and got me when they played the Giants in the World Series in 2012, I believe. The Giants swept them that year. He went to the old ruins of the stadium and got me a bag of screws and some concrete and stuff from the old Tiger Stadium, and I have it still. That's one of my most prized possessions. Really cool.
It's definitely interesting. Jacob says, "What up, Medina?" Let's put a guaranteed rate field. That's Chicago.
Bottom.
I'd say top 20. I could probably fit it in my low 20, but as I said, guaranteed rate field. Yeah. I still like it a lot more, but for some reason I just don't like it as much now. So someone had another one. Progressive Field, that's one of the stadiums I forgot. I drove outside it. I definitely
like that place.
I definitely would love to be inside it. You putting that in your top 10?
Yeah, I've been there. Top 15 at least, but I would put Cincinnati over it, but that place is so cool. I saw my very first Red Sox game ever there.
Really?
Yeah. In 2015 or 2016, I got to see Pedroia and Big Papi there.
Did they win?
They did.
Okay. All right. So progressive fuel from me. I'm going to say top 20. Let's say top 20. All right. Let's see.
Okay, well, let's just be clear. Where would you put Fenway, and where would I put Yankee Stadium, and vice versa?
That's kind of like we were kind of circling around it for a little bit,
Right.
and then we got to get to the elephant in the room. Fenway, I have to admit, there's like a part of me that says it's overrated because of its history, but at the same time, I do feel like it's partly glorious in a sense. So I'd put it in my top 15-ish. How do you feel about the old Yankee Stadium? I would rank higher than the new Yankee Stadium. I don't think there's any questions asked. But how
I
would you
agree.
feel about the new Yankee Stadium?
I think I'd put the old one above the new one. I don't know, the short walls, whether or not it bothers others, has always really pissed me off about Yankee Stadium. And I don't know, it just, to me, it always gave me like, I just imagine how gross those bleachers are about out in the outfield. It probably just, correct me if I'm wrong, I always thought that place kind of smelled like shit because of all the talk about the subways being disgusting, which you told me is not true, which I'll take your word for it. But I'm going to put Yankee Stadium right near the middle for me.
Okay, that's generous coming from a Red Sox fan, but listen, we're being completely transparent. I was at opening day in Colorado for the first Rockies game, Mile High. Wow. Okay, so the first ever Rockies game, Jeff was at. Interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah, Geno Smith just got comeback player of the year. Interesting. I mean, I guess. I mean, he did throw 30 touchdowns and was basically a bum before this year. So I didn't really expect Saquon to win, but if
Yeah.
he won, it would have been interesting. So we crossed over a guaranteed rate. Now, how would you rank your own ballpark? I'll let you start with Fenway.
I mean, it's got to be, honestly, in my eyes, it's like top 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
I mean, and what about you for Yankee Stadium?
Top 15.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like I might not think as much about Fenway once we actually go there, and I know it's old. I know the history is what really keeps that place alive, but in my eyes, watching it on TV my entire life, it's got to be up there.
All right. So we crossed over that. Anaheim, because we were talking about it earlier. I know with your LA story, you'd probably put it in your top 15, right?
Yeah, I like that place a lot. Wide open parking lot. I mean, it is just so smooth getting in and out of there. It's like going to see a movie.
Okay. I'd put that in my top 20 because I don't really have a connection to it, probably because we're out of it's not in our division.
Correct.
So I'd probably I'd probably put it in top 20 for right now. That's at least where I'm going to put it. So what is it? Angel Stadium?
Yeah. Angels, what is it? Yeah, Angel Stadium.
Okay. All right. Jacob says Alex, Yankee Stadium is Killer Joe's top 1, 2, 3. I mean, yeah, Joe literally attends at least fucking 10 games a month at Yankee Stadium. I mean, I'm over exaggerating, but yeah. So he goes to a lot of Yankee games despite they suck. I mean, he's always getting me to go to games. I know last year he kind of pulled me to that Jeter game. I really didn't want to go, but I said fine. And then the Yankees lost that day, so it was that Globe Life Park. I think it's a little overrated.
It's new, right?
It's the newer Rangers Stadium. I forget what the fuck was the name of the old stadium? Something in Arlington. What was the name of it? The old Arlington Park.
I can't remember the name of it.
Jacob will probably throw it to us before I type this in. So, Rangers Ballpark, Arlington. So, no. Well, now it's called Choctaw Stadium, which, if I'm not mistaken, the ballpark in Arlington was the original name. Let's see. I'm trying to look this up, see what the now. I mean, it's probably still Globe Life Park. It's okay. So Globe Life Field, Rangers Ballpark in Arlington Stadium. I like Rangers Ballpark in Arlington better than Globe Life Field. Me personally. I mean, what do
I'm
you
going
think?
to take Globe Life Field above all. I never really liked the Rangers. I never really liked any Texas sports, but I think that new stadium's cool. I like retractable roofs. What can I say?
Well, I'd probably put it in my top 20 to start. All right.
Me too.
Let's see. Globe Life 20. All right. The Buffalo Bills player got hurt, got him a season award tonight. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, he deserves it. David Freese and Ryan Howard played in my high school. Did you guys have any pro athletes from your high school? For me, it's even though I'm probably not going to have any, it's kind of too early to tell for me. Sox, do you have any like connect? I mean, I know the one of the pitchers that I used to play in Little League back in Pennsylvania, he is going to Penn State. He's probably at Penn State right now. He's a pitcher, so I don't know if he's a part of their baseball team yet. I'm actually going to take a look at the Penn State baseball roster and see if he is. If he's not, then there is absolutely
We had I went to a really small school. My graduating class was 42 kids.
Really?
Yes, my entire school, 9 through 12, had 190 kids in it. So it's pretty rare that you get some professional ball players out of that school. But we had both Billy Hatcher and Johnny Hatcher. Billy Hatcher is now the current third base coach for the Reds, I believe. They both went to Williams High School and played in the big leagues.
All right. So I was correct. And he is on the Penn State roster. His name is James Lordi. And funny story about, I mean, James is a year younger than I am. And, we knew each other from Little League and whatnot. And there was one time he hit me twice in the game. Once was on the ass. Of course, it wasn't intentionally, but straight up, first pitch down the middle, strike. Next pitch it was either a slider or a straight fastball that got away from him, hit me right in the ass, gave me a nice bruise. And then once the next step back, it nicked me in the jersey. So, but I don't listen. There was fucking 6th grade, so it's not like I hurt old or anything. He could be very well be a major league pitcher. I mean, as I said, I don't really know how his game has progressed, but just some interesting stuff.
I just found out that Kurt Schilling grew up in my hometown of Williams, Arizona.
Really?
Yes. I knew he was from Arizona, and I knew he went to Yavapai College, which is about an hour away, but I didn't know he grew up in my hometown. That's cool.
So here's some insight of some that we were bringing up in the chat earlier. Here's the Coach of the Year voting. 12 votes were given to Brian Dable, 12 to Kyle Shanahan, 7 to Sean McDermott, Nick Sirianni 6, Doug Peterson 5, Andy Reid 2, Dan Campbell and Kevin O'Connell 1 each. So there is that. So Booyah Get Yanked says, what do you guys think of the new rules in baseball this year? Well, I don't think, let's see. The pitch clock, I think it's going to speed the game up. I think there's going to be, I kind of piss on the rule, not going to lie. I'm not a fan of the pitch clock, but I think in time, I think I might like it. Let's see. We got the bigger bases coming in.
I hate the pitch clock.
For us old school baseball fans, we do hate it. The bigger bases is another. And, I don't see how much of an impact that's going to make. And then the other one is the shift ban. Now, remind me, because I remember we discussed this about a year ago. Were you against the shift ban or were you for it?
I am
against it, right?
Against the ban, yes, and you're for it.
Okay, so I remember where we stand in terms of that. Aaron Hernandez went to school 15, 20 minutes from my hometown. Former Yankees Carl Pavano and Sal Romano both went to my high school. Pavano obviously is not a very good name in the Yankee book. Romano, I remember he was like a 6'8" pitcher for the Yankees. Banning the shift is dumb. Pitch clock is dumb. Man fraud ruined the game. John says, banning the shift, I agree. Pitch clock is dumb. And then obviously whatever they're going to make, the new base is going to resemble marshmallows. I don't know. because they will get dirty a lot. So
They were significantly bigger, though. I saw a comparison, and they are pretty significantly bigger. It's just I think it's nice to be a base runner, be able to slide into a bigger bag, have a bigger target.
Right, and maybe that enhances the. How would you say this? That enhances the incentive to steal bases. Maybe that's the type of thing that goes on. So, how do y'all think the Chicago Cubs will fare this year? I think they're going to be, let's see, you got the Pirates, you got the Brewers, you got the Cards. Third or fourth place? They might be better than the Pirates. I mean, the Pirates are still growing, but third or fourth place. Not much change there. What is your favorite baseball movie? Mine is Sandlot and Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams would be at the top of my list. Major League would be there. Bull Durham would be there. Shit. Let's see. Baseball movies. I'm going to look some up so just I can familiarize myself. I haven't seen all of the Sandlot movies. Moneyball, I'm indifferent about. I've watched Moneyball. The Natural is probably my top 2. 42 is in my top 5. So, yeah, it'd probably be a battle between the Natural and Field of Dreams.
For me, it's 42 and Fever Pitch.
I just saw Fever Pitch. Also, one that's really underrated, it's another Kevin Costner one, is For the Love of the Game.
Okay.
That's also very
I've never seen that movie.
I would suggest you do. It's about a old Tigers pitcher. It's not true, obviously, but Kevin Costner is an old Tigers pitcher, and his team's going to the playoff. I forget like the entire plot, but yeah, he's basically an old, past his prime, Tigers pitcher. Little Big League. I've seen Little Big League. It's all right. I mean, I would have to rewatch it again to gather my thoughts on it. It will prevent defenders from sticking their foot into the base runner's slide. I guess that's a point to make. Hot take: Judge will have 20 plus stolen bases this year with the new rules. I don't think so. I don't think.
How many does he have? How many did he have last year?
That's a good question. Let's take a look.
Because I know the Yankees were not aggressive on the bases last year.
Well, they never are. That's the unfortunate thing. So Aaron Judge had 16 stolen bases last year. Okay. I mean, maybe you're onto something, Jacob.
Maybe you are onto something.
We'll circle back to it, of course. Let us know what that one thing is, Jeff. He's probably typing out a response right now. Anything the Cubs, because I'm just making sure we went through all the questions and whatnot. So you guys keep pressing your questions out. We pretty much went over all the AL Central, at least that I know of. I think we took over all the West, went through Citi Field. How do you feel about the fuck's the name? Citizens Bank Ballpark.
I think I would put that right near the middle for me.
I'd say
because I cannot stand Philadelphia.
I can't stand Philadelphia either. I mean, obviously we share that as Giant fans, but I just is it Baltimore's year? No, it's not Baltimore's year. But I would say top 20, low 20 for me. For Citizens Bank, I think it's a tad nicer than Guaranteed Rate Field, but that still doesn't make me love it. So there is that. Fuck Philly, you're right. I tell you one thing, I played a high school game at the old Busch Stadium, like playing on concrete, just awful. Can't believe they let those guys play in that shit. Listen, I mean, there's a lot of places where the field conditions are just terrible, and you wonder, hey, listen, why do we play there? Why do they let us play there? Yeah, you're right. Fuck Philly, especially for what they did this past weekend at MSG. And all that sort of stuff.
Especially for losing on purpose to get the Giants out of the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't hold that against them because I could hold 7 million other things against them.
They shouldn't have started their starters if they were going to lose on purpose. If you're going to lose, don't give us a teaser.
There's a tease.
Yeah, don't give us a teaser.
Let's see. Booyah says, what do you think of the Angels this year? They made some solid signings. Let's see. We got the Rangers in that division. We got the Astros. I think they'll stay at fourth place this year. I was going to say, March is going to be fun for our prediction show when it happens. I don't know where the fucking cards are. Maybe I have to go back to last year's show, but it would be fun going through those predictions, just seeing what we had last year. Because I don't think we had
Go ahead.
Because I don't think we had precise record predictions, but we had,
Standings.
standings, right?
We got to do something for opening day because I found out it's on a Thursday. I'll be able to do some games. I don't know who the Yankees are playing on opening day.
San Francisco Giants.
Okay. All right.
So we got maybe we'll do. I'm trying to think this out. So obviously, probably most of the league, and if not all the league, except for maybe a night game, probably gonna do what do you call it? Let's see, March 20. This on the 30th. Yeah, everybody's playing mostly at the 105 mark. Boston plays at 210. So either like a morning show or a recap show at night, something along those lines. But we'll have time to talk about it. Do you think the Astros will win it all again this year? I don't think they'll win it all. I think they'll come very, very close. I just don't know who's on their level right now. I mean, the Braves are ticky-tacky. The Jays, everyone's telling me, the Jays, you got to fear them a little bit. I don't know. I'm not fearing the Jays. Last year, I took the bait. I'm not taking the bait this year.
Yeah.
I predicted them to go to the World Series, and I lost that. And the Padres. The Padres also are very good. They could probably compete like they always do with the Dodgers for that top 1-2
The thing that killed the Padres was a lack of playoff experience. Now they got that. They know how to play those high pressure ball games, and I think they're going to be a good contender next year.
Yes, John. Opening day, Yanks Giants. Aaron Judge's team versus almost new team. Who has the better lineup, Padres or the Mets? See, that's funny because John is a Giant. Well, he's not a Giants fan. No, he's a Mets fan, but he's definitely going to answer that with bias or with no bias. That's a good question. Who has the better lineup?
It screams Padres to me right now. I would have to look at them back to back, but they just added Xander Bogaerts too.
Right. Let's see. Padres. If they said Correa, I would say, okay, maybe you could sell me on let's see. All right, so we got Juan Soto, who's definitely in there, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, Nelson Cruz, not much of anything, Matt Carpenter. Yeah, so there's this, and then let me go to the Mets projected lineup, which you have a lot of continuity there, which is a good thing. Let's see, I think this is the same site. Okay, Nimmo, Marte, Lindor. I might. There's a lot of stars on the, because I mean, they don't have Fernando Tatis Jr. I don't know if he's still in that suspension. I might have to lean the Mets here. I'm sorry. I just feel like there's more balanced power as you go down in the lineup. So I mean, I'll pull it up in 1 second so we can compare the lineups. So you share screen, Chrome tab. All right, so here's the Padres projected lineup as they see fit on what's this, RotoChamp. Maybe they're missing a couple of different guys, but Hassan Kim, Juan Soto, Machado, Bogaerts, Cronenworth, Cruz, Carpenter, Nola, and Trent Grisham. Let me know when you want to go to the Mets one. Oh, shit, right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Mets. I'm going to stop sharing the screen for 2 seconds, and we're going to go to the Mets right about now. What are you thinking?
It's really close. I think that's a really good question. I think, Grisham and them played really well for the Padres in the playoffs, but I think you're right. There's a little bit of balance here in the starters. The potential starting pitchers, I think, puts them over that edge a little bit.
Which one, the Mets?
Yeah,
I'm thinking. We're just saying the projected starting lineup is in the hitters.
Oh, it's in the hitters.
Yeah,
I'm still going to lead with the Padres.
Okay. All right, so we'll leave with the Padres. I had a graduation class of 900, and my wife had 23 in Homer, Illinois. Let's see. My graduating class was something like 3,000. So there's that.
That's as much as my whole town.
Quite interesting to say the least. But if I stayed in Pennsylvania for my 4 years, it'd probably be in the hundreds, 200s, maybe even more than that. But I don't know. I swear, if the Mets don't go further than last year, there'll be a nice juicy rant. Of course, there will be, John. Where do you rank the Yankees and Red Sox lineup this year? MLB wide or division wide? Let us know. You hear about Arizona; they're waiting till after the Super Bowl to hire a head coach. In my opinion, that almost means they're on one of the Super Bowl coordinators. I feel better about Wink coming back after the reports that Indy they're keeping their DC, and you have to imagine Wink wants his own staff with no attachments. I think Kafka is more gone than Wink is. Not saying Kafka is going to get hired by Arizona, but let's see. So let me just stop sharing my screen in the middle of the studio. Where do we rank Nationals Park? Not top 15 for me, not top 20. I'd say 20.
Bottom 10. Yeah.
Let's say. So we're going to go with Nationals Park.
I think you might be pleasantly surprised, though. I feel like I would be pleasantly surprised to go there on a nice day game.
Yeah. Jacob, that is true. That Sunday, he is doing a game season from, I forget the bar's name. You probably have to ask him. I will be there, most likely. I'll be at both events, but I'll be the second one. It's going to be either me or Luca because I want one of us to get paid that weekend in terms of my regular job. But let's see. So MLB rank. MLB rank for both the Yankees and Red Sox lineups. That's a good question. I think I ranked the Yankees 9th. Where would you put the Red Sox lineup? So I'm trying to think where I would put my Yankees lineup.
It screams like 13 to me.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna run down a list. I'm gonna run down
12.
a list. Okay. So the Blue Jays, I think they have a better lineup.
Yeah.
The Rays, no. The Orioles, no. The Red Sox, no. Guardians, no. White Sox, no. Twins, no. Well, yeah, now Twins, no. Tigers, no. Royals, no. Astros, yes. Mariners could cause some competition. Let me see if I could, on this site, I could look up the Mariners' projected lineup. Seattle,
they got a good lineup.
They do. Rodriguez, Ty France, Eugenio Suarez, Teoscar Hernandez is pretty good for them. Let me see. Their lineup starts to bottom out at the bottom. I'd probably say us just by this much. Angels, no. I wouldn't say the Angels. Athletics, fucking God, no. Mariners already covered. Braves, the Mets have a better lineup than we do. That's something I'll acknowledge. The Phillies. The Phillies have, reconstructed a little bit. Let's take a look at their starting lineup. Or at least projected starting lineup. You got Trey Turner. Yeah, let me go ahead and say that the Phillies have a better lineup than the Yankees. So we got Astros, Mets, Phillies, Blue Jays. So that's 4 teams as of right now. Maybe I'm missing a team that I ranked higher. Marlins, God, no. Well, they've improved a little bit. Washington Nationals, no. Cardinals, it's up for stiff competition because of Arenado.
Yeah. And Goldie, right?
And Goldschmidt. Brendan Donovan. Wilson Contreras they also got. So, I'm still picking the Yankees over them. The Dodgers, they've lost some pieces, so that's where you kind of get shady a little bit with this batting order.
John, I got to correct you there. The Dodgers fan base is just... And I'd put them worse than the Yankees, in my opinion.
Really?
Although the Yankees fans are just delusional. The Yankees fans remind me of Cowboys fans a lot, but having to live next to these Dodgers fans, oh my God, it's atrocious. I'll tell you what. They think they're better than the Padres, and they're not even better than the Padres.
On paper, they're not, but they always find themselves at the top. Let's see. Speaking of which, obviously I'm not going to sit here and rave on my own fan base or whatever, but literally this week there was a video, I don't know if you heard, but Brian Cashman made some comments, John will know what I'm talking about, over the past weekend that, he said the perception of the fan base was basically like we got eliminated in the first round when we didn't. And I kind of hated that comment, not gonna lie. But then these group of podcasters on Twitter said, no, that's not what he said. And he's not referring to the Yankee fans as spoiled, and basically started throwing out the built-in excuses. Oh, he's had this winning percentage since 1998. Who fucking cares? Why are we normalizing ourselves being the Cowboys in the standard of, okay, we go to the playoffs, that's fucking good enough for us? No, we need to stop running into a wall every single year against the Astros and actually find a way around it and get to the World Series. I think that's every single team has a path of going to the World Series every year, despite the tanking teams, but it's just where they are on a standard level. Like the Red Sox, I mean, obviously the past few years they've been to the playoffs, but they've also been up and down. Their standard is not as high as the Yankees. Like you'd probably be generally happy with a playoff berth this year. I wouldn't be. I say, go up higher and
which is crazy because it's crazy to me that that's the fact, because the Red Sox have World Series in recent years, and the Yankees don't, and there's still that weird expectation, and it's just a different dynamic, because I'm okay with that playoff berth and that maybe that first round exit or that second round exit, but we got a 2018 World Series. I don't know if that's the reason, but it's just weird to me.
It's a mantra the Yankees have built. I mean, the Red Sox, they've been, I don't know what the record is all time, and obviously they've had some historic moments, but the Yankees are the technical greatest franchise in sports history because of the 27 chips.
Yeah.
Ideologically. And listen, I'm not going to say here, and say, oh, the Yankees are going to go to the World Series every year. They're going to make it. No, obviously not. I'm not a Cowboys fan in that aspect. I'm not going to hype up the team in that aspect because I'm not somebody who gaslights. But there are people that kind of act like the Yankees, the Cowboy fans as we think of them. Booyah, I'd say the Eagles. The Cowboys, it's just laughable to an extent. Because they get eliminated every single solitary year, and it's not like it's nothing changes for them. But the Eagles, I hate the most.
It's the Eagles.
You'd probably stick with the Eagles too, right?
Yeah. Ever since Deshaun Jackson,
I've just hated them because I lived in PA, had to listen to all those goddamn Eagle fans. There's some realistic Yankee fans, but I call the delusional ones Yankees. But the Braves are annoying with their fans. Only way I'm okay with just making the playoffs and nothing else is if we were in rebuild mode like the Giants. I agree with you, Jacob. That was kind of like the 2017 mode. But at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I forgot Booyah is a Cowboys fan. Yeah, but you guys like literally hit a wall every single year. And this is, take my Giants bias out of it. You guys hit a wall every single year. Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott. I mean, are you really going to Super Bowl with that?
Just been average since 95.
Above average, and that doesn't really get you anywhere now, does it? Sandlot was the best. Come on, Smalls. Yes, of course. To me, it's ALCS or bust every year. Yeah, ALC we didn't even win games in the ALCS. I think Dan Campbell did an outstanding job and like his demeanor and just old school.
Yes.
Yeah, don't have many old school guys anymore. Is this Donald wearing the Alex mask? See, why Hayes says that is because I came out with a video a few days ago. I believe it was yesterday when all fucking YouTube was down. And it was a video basically saying these are the options at quarterback. Not that I was endorsing it.
I watched that video.
Yeah, just elaborating the options. Like, you can franchise tag him. You could do this. You could do that.
If a deal's not done.
If a deal isn't done. So I know Hayes is always kidding around, but someone actually did unsubscribe to me because of that. And I checked. I'm like, you know what? It's funny. You can't be middle of the argument anymore. You have to be either. And this is that's how Hayes. You either are a Daniel Jones apologist or you're a Daniel Jones pessimist. I find myself in the middle.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you a question. I know obviously we have some ballpark shit to rank out. Would you give Daniel Jones $35 million a year?
I really don't know. I really don't know. To be honest with you, I'm going to say yes, but it would be so easy to give him some money and he would go right back to his old ways of dropping the ball. If he starts turning the ball over like he used to, which I don't know, coaching matters a lot. So if we got our guy in Dable in that system, hey, I say go for it if you believe in him. And I think he proved himself. I really, really do. And it's not just saying that because of the playoff hype and beating Minnesota. And finally they beat Minnesota and then everybody said he's proved himself. No, he proved himself all year without turning the ball over as much as he did. So I'm going to say yes.
I'll get the helicopter for anyone that unsubscribes. So the inside joke to that is, I don't know where we got it first. I think Luke actually came up with it. That as the Jets were collapsing down the stretch in 2022, that John obviously was getting furiously angry at the Jets, and Luke was like, you know what, he's going to fly a helicopter over Robert Saleh's house, just because that's something John would do if he had a helicopter and knew how to fly one. Alex, my thing is, Giants fan, we don't need to pray Rodgers goes to the Jets. If that doesn't happen, Jets will unload the truck for him. We'll see what happens with the Rodgers thing. I think that's definitely going to be interesting. I know in the next couple of weeks, this podcast and Boys in the Apple will definitely talk about quarterbacks and their destinations. He by far is the best option compared to Jimmy, Derek, or anyone else, except for Lamar if he's even available. No, it's definitely good points. Favorite all-time baseball player? For me, with team bias, I'd say Mark Teixeira. As someone who, in terms of a Yankees fan perspective, Mark Teixeira was my favorite. I mean, you have a couple of favorites, Sox. Who's your number one?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think at first it was Dustin Pedroia for me, but David Ortiz it has to be Big Poppy for me. It's a no-brainer.
What do you think of Sean Payton going to the Broncos? If I'm not mistaken, Dead Red wise, we both predicted that one correct.
I believe so.
And I think it's a good move for them, but they got get a couple of things straight over there in terms of the coaching staff.
They're gonna stink.
Russell Wilson. You think they're gonna stink again? I think they'll be mid. I think it'll be mid.
I think mid is fair, but they're not gonna. There's no way you go win a Super Bowl. Although Sean Payton, coaching matters a lot. I feel like people don't understand. He led the league in passing with Drew Brees 9 years.
No problem, Jacob. Alex, off topic. Who were the top candidates last year? Was it only Dabes and Flores? Yeah, those were the top two. But they also interviewed Leslie Frazier. I think Lou Anarumo was in there for the conversation as well. There's a couple of different guys, but those are just some options. Let's see what else. But I'd probably say the Yankees are a top 10 lineup, but that doesn't say a lot compared to the rest of the MLB. Because like the Rockies don't compare, the Diamondbacks don't compare, the Giants, they might compare, but are they overall better than the Yankees? Let's take a look real quick. San Francisco Giants. I wouldn't say off the top of my head. I mean, Conforto, yeah, he factors in. Yeah, no, I think the Giants will be this year's Brewers. Good pitching, not good hitting. There's a couple of guys I like. Booyah. I've started watching my film already. Jack Campbell, Cody Mauch, Payne Durham. A couple of guys I have on my list. And, in terms of the NFL draft, look forward next Boys in Big Apple, which is Monday. Those we'll be going over prospect of the week. Start doing that from all the way till the draft. And you guys will get to know about some of the better prospects, some of the more underrated prospects in this year's draft. Our lineup is upon the youngsters. They will dictate how good we'll be this year. Same thing with Donaldson. Donaldson's another name. Hicks, if he's as a starter. If DJ LeMahieu's healthy, that's another, one that goes along those lines. So, all right. I got to go back to the ballparks thing. Obviously, guys keep going with these comments and questions. All right. So, which ones have we not crossed so far? Wrigley, we touched. Pittsburgh, we touched. Coors Field, I think we touched. How would we rank Oracle Park?
Probably right near the middle for me.
I would say like high 20s for me. I think it's vastly overrated. I really do. It's not one of my favorites. Rivas and Klecko are Hall of Famers. Well, that's good for the Jets. I'm really starting to believe the smoke of Peraza being the starting shortstop and IKF on the bench. Hopefully that's the case. I was watching Peyton Manning, the best ever on best ballparks and stadiums. Yankee Stadium came in at my number one. Sorry, Sox.
Yeah, it is what it is. I think the championship bias is a big thing there.
All right. So let me just mark down which ones we got. Camden Yards. How would we rank that? I'd say top 15. But I think it's overall nice besides that stupid wall in left field.
if I wasn't a fan of a team in the division, that might be my favorite ballpark in our division. I think that'd be fair to say.
Okay. All right. So Fenway I listed as top 15. I'm going to start organizing mine in
I'm gonna
a
do
couple of
mine
different
too.
piles. Right. I'm going to organize mine in a couple of different piles. That way, at least I know how to format it and compare it. Let's see. Top 15. So give us a minute, guys, in the chat. We're just setting aside stadiums here. Top 10, top 15. Great American Ballpark for me, top 15. Okay. As I said, I'm just trying. So top 15. This. This is good. This is gonna be an interesting decision maker. Do you have any idea? Now I know obviously this is kind of the anticlimactic thing. Do you have any idea, in your opinion, what your first best ballpark would be?
Fenway.
Okay, so I'll put you down for Fenway, number one. Number one for me, I don't think it's going to be Yankee Stadium. It's between maybe 3, 4 for me. Petco is one, not one on my list, but it's one of them. PNC Park, Coors Field, and Kauffman Stadium. You know what? I'm not going to be a bandwagon like everybody else, and I'm going to say Kauffman Stadium is number one for me.
Nice. Let's just go down the list. I think we can go down the list. We've talked about
Number
it.
2.
Petco.
So number 2 for me, between Petco and PNC and Coors Field. Let's see. I'm imagining in my head Petco, PNC, Coors. Petco, PNC, Coors. I'd probably put Petco over Coors. Where would I rank PNC? Jesus. Okay. Let me go PNC number 2. Number 3.
Great American Ballpark.
Great American. Okay. For me, I'm going to go Petco. Number 4.
PNC.
PNC. Number 4 for me, I'm going to take Coors Field. Okay, so we got our top 4. Let me remove them from my list. I already got that one on the list. PNC, I got that one on the list. Coors and Kauffman. Okay. Number 5.
Number 5, Coors.
Okay, so you are going to take Coors. Let's see. Guaranteed rate. Because a lot of these I listed as top 20. Now, do I pick Safeco over Camden, Fenway, Yankee Stadium, Chase Field, Rogers Center? I'm going to go Safeco as number 5. Number 5, Safeco. Okay. Phillies Ballpark would probably be in the middle for me, or, I would say early 20s. Let's see. Jeff says, have you guys ever been in Bosse Field? The underneath lockers are so impressive. It smells like it did way back. Those dugouts are crazy. I have never been. Maybe I'm putting that on my list. Fenway was my fave. Do you guys remember Scott Cooper from the Red Sox and Bill Miller, also a Red Sox, both won the batting title, both from St. Louis, played against both. I don't remember Scott Cooper. I remember Bill Miller, though.
Yeah. Same here.
Let's see. I'll get to your 2 questions in a second. Booyah. Very good questions involving the Yankees. All right. Let's see. We got number 6.
Chase Field.
Chase Field. Okay. All right. So safe goes off my list. Damn, this one. Now we get into the hard section. Let's see. Shit. Would I go Chase here? Do I think it's better than Yankee Stadium?
Yeah.
Do I think it's better than? Of course, you'd say that as an former Arizona resident. Let's see. I got Camden on my list. I'm gonna go Yankee Stadium. That's subject to change though. Subject to change. Number 7.
I'm gonna go with Anaheim.
Anaheim. I didn't even. You know what? I'm gonna erase Yankee Stadium from my list, and I think I'm gonna change up mine a little because I didn't even think about one we talked about at the beginning of the show. Dodger Stadium is one of my favorites, and I think I'm gonna take it at number 4, which would move down Safeco, which would move down actually PNC Petco. Let me just make sure. So that would move Coors, Safeco, and then maybe Yankee Stadium, but I also got a Dodger Stadium here. Okay. So number 7, you picked Anaheim. I got to pick something as well. Let's see. Nationals Park, absolutely not. Fenway, Yankee Stadium, Camden Yards. Once again, subject to change. I will take Yankee Stadium. Right. Number 8.
After Anaheim, I'm taking Safeco.
Okay, Safeco for you. For me.
Who's T-Mobile? It's actually T-Mobile Park now, I think.
Yeah. Yep, I did see that. Jeffrey Shots, Tudo in the chat. Chaves Ravine is so awesome. Let's see. Chavez. Oh yeah, I see the Los Angeles. I think that's near the stadium, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
All right. So, shouts to John. Thank you, man, for tuning in. All right. So you picked Safeco. Let's see. Top 15. I gotta say, take it. You know what? I think I'm gonna go Chase Field here. I'm gonna go Chase Field. Number 9.
Where are we at? After Safeco, I'm going to take Camden Yards.
All right. Camden Yards. Let's see. For me, do I want to take the Rogers Center? Do I want to take Progressive Field? Let me take Progressive Field at number 9. Number 10.
I'm going to take Rogers.
Rogers Center. I'm going to take Rogers Center too. Subject to change. Number 11.
Busch Stadium.
Okay, all right. So you will go St. Louis. I don't think I'm going to go Busch Stadium that early yet. We cross that off. Let's see. Let's see. Do I pick Great American or do I pick Camden Yards? I'm going to pick Great American at number 11. Number 12.
Miami.
Okay, interesting. So Sox will go Marlins Park. And I will go. Let's see, I went Marlin. Let me go Camden Yards here. Camden Yards. Number 13.
I'm going with Progressive.
Sox will go with Progressive. Right. And then for me, let's see. Yankee Stadium already put on the list. I think I'll go Fenway. I'll be completely transparent. I'll go Fenway here. So all my top 15 is gone. Chase Field. So all right, number 14, almost halfway there.
I think I already got Progressive, right?
Let's take a look. Yeah, you got Progressive with the last one.
Kauffman.
All right, so Kauffman Stadium. Same division, too. Shouts to Jeff. He's got to roll, guys. Be well. Love your podcast. Keep up the awesome work. Tudo says, me and my rugby teammates are flying out tomorrow. We'll be at the Super Bowl on Sunday. Our tickets cost us between $6,000 to $8,000. We ain't watching the game, just Boise hunting, bullying them, slapping them all day. Of course, the Eagle fans that will be there. Watch out for Tudo. All right, so you say Kaufman. Now I got to start digging into my bag for this one. City Field, no, I don't really feel too positive about it. Progressive Field already covered it. Truist Park, not really. Do I go Busch Stadium this early? Let's see. Covered all this. I'm just trying to think at the top of my head. If you know what, I don't think I wrote this one down. I'm gonna go Minute Maid Park.
Okay.
Number 15.
Where are we at? I'm going to go San Francisco at 15.
Oracle Park. Number 15 for me. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Anaheim. Angels Stadium. Number 16.
Globe Life.
Globe Life. Let's see. Globe Life Field. For me, still in that top 15 range. Let's see. Target Field, no. Truist Park, yeah, it could be up there. I obviously crossed off Anaheim. Guaranteed rate haven't crossed over yet. Let's see. Philly, Citizen Bank Park is worth noting. Busch Stadium. Already covered the Rockies and the D-backs. Covered most of the West, if I'm being honest. Let me go ahead and say Citi Field at 16. 17.
I'm going Minute Maid.
Minute Maid Park. Okay. And I will be up next. Do I go Comerica? Obviously went Citi Field, who I just explained. Let me go Citizens Bank Park. Number 18.
I'm going to go Wrigley.
Okay. Wrigley Field. For me, next one, I'll go Busch Stadium and stay in the division. Number 19.
Number 19. Let's go with Atlanta.
Truist Park. Actually, no, I'm going to put Truist Park above Busch. Sox at 19 will go with Truist. We'll go the one I just went, Busch Stadium. Number 20.
Citi Field.
Citi Field. Yankee Stadium yet to appear on the list. All right, so I got guaranteed rate, which I haven't gone yet. Comerica Park. Truist Park just went. Target Field. Busch already went. Nationals Park. I don't think, and I have not picked Oracle Park yet. So I think here I'm going to take Comerica Park. Number 21.
Philly.
Citizens Bank. Park. And then for me, spell check would not be a thing. Gonna start digging into my bag of parks that I really don't like. I think I'm gonna go guaranteed rate field. Number 22.
Nationals.
Nationals Park. Right? Start digging into my bag once again. Guaranteed rate just crossed off the list along with Comerica. Let me go Oracle Park. Number 23.
I'm going to go with Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Okay. Milwaukee. I haven't even thought of Milwaukee. That's Miller Park. They have a new name for it, but I'm going to just list it as Miller Park. Actually going to put it as my number. Let's see. I'm going to put it as my number 22 and move down Oracle Park. Number 24.
Guaranteed rate.
Guaranteed rate field. I think I'm going to go Globe Life here. Let's go number 25.
Comerica.
America Park. Me. All right. Got a couple of more to choose from. Let me go Wrigley Field. Number 26.
Target Field.
Target Field. Global Life is officially off my list. Oracle, so it's officially off my list. I think I'm going to go Nationals Park. It's number 26 for me. Number 27.
Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium finally shows up in your list. For me, let me go ahead and go Target Field. Let's see, we got number 28. And then we obviously agree on 29 and 30. I think I'm missing one stadium. But Sox, what's your number 28?
Dodger Stadium.
No, you hate Dodger Stadium. Really, really bad.
The place is a dump. I don't know why anybody would.
All right, so I'm going to try to look at your list to see what I have. Oh, Marlins Park. That's the one I've not picked off yet. I'm going to revitalize my list a little bit. Would I take it over Oracle? I'm going to move it down. I'll take Marlins Park at 24. Globe Life at 25. Let's see. All right. Wrigley moves down here.
Patrick Mahomes named MVP.
Not surprising with that one. Nationals Park and Target Field. Just going to move these down. Nationals Park here. Wrigley Field. It's really Globe Life. Okay, so we're going to run through these. We have a consensus on the last two and also number 9, actually number 10, I believe. So let's go through it. So for number 1, Sox's favorite is Fenway, with all the Boston bias included. Mine is Kauffman Stadium. Number 2 for Sox is Petco. Number 2 for me is PNC Park. Number 3 for Sox is Great American Ballpark. Mine is Petco. Number 4 for us is PNC for Sox, Dodger Stadium for me. Number 5, we mutually agree on Coors Field. Number 6 for Sox is Chase Field, mine is Safeco. Number 7 is Anaheim for Sox. For me, it's Yankee Stadium. Number 8 is Safeco for Sox. Mine is Chase Field. Number 9 is Camden Yards for Sox. Mine is Progressive Field. We both agree on Rogers Center at 10. Number 11 is Busch Stadium for Sox. Great American. Well, me, Great American at 11. 12, Marlins Park. That is, Marlins Park for Sox. For me, it's Camden Yards. Number 13 is Progressive Field for Sox. For me, it's Fenway Park. Number 14 for Sox is Kauffman. For me, it's Minute Maid Park. Number 15 for him is Oracle Park. Then for me, it's Angel Stadium. Number 16 is Globe Life Field for Sox, and then Citi Field for me. Number 17 is Minute Maid Park for Sox. For me, it's Citizens Bank. For 18, Sox puts Wrigley Field there. I put Truist Park there. Number 19 for Sox picks Truist Park. I pick Comerica Park. Number 20, Citi Field for Sox. For me, it's Busch Stadium. Number 21, Sox picks Citizens Bank. I pick Guaranteed Rate. Nationals Park, number 22 for Sox. For me, it's Miller Park. Number 23, Oracle Park for me. Sox gets Miller Park. 24 guaranteed rate field for Sox. For me, it's Marlins Park. 25 Comerica Park, Sox. Globe Life Field for me. Number 26 is Target Field for Sox. Wrigley Field for me. Number 27 for him is Yankee Stadium. Number 27 for me is Nationals Park. Number 28 for him is Dodger Stadium. For me, it's Target Field. And then consensus of 29 and 30, ODOT Coliseum, and the worst being Tropicana Field. So I hope you guys enjoyed all that sort of stuff. MLB The Show is a great game. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably be getting the new one this year, but I know a lot of people with the PS5 and PS4 users really can't enjoy the metrics that are put into that game now. Though I really don't have a desire to get the PS5 unless handed to me. I should have put money on Dave's Coach of the Year prior to the season. Would have made some money on him. Probably was a long shot to win preseason. Well, then again, too, as well, Jacob, maybe if you would have done it before the season, maybe he wouldn't have won. So consider yourself maybe save money. Well, I mean, I don't really like the cover of MLB The Show 23. I think it should have been Julio Rodriguez rather than Jazz Chisholm. I mean, you look at stats. I mean, let's be real. Gleyber Torres was a better offensive player than Jazz Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm was just more of a star in Miami. So there's that. But MLB The Show has been a part of my life for a few years. I'm not going to always down tune it. Doesn't really have. It probably has the least amount of issues in most sports games. Like you talk about 2K. You talk about 2K. Madden probably is the most issues. WWE. In terms of this, I don't really watch wrestling. I think Jeffrey Jamestown does. So if he wants to answer, he can. As far as the two other questions, and then there's another question, we'll hop into our Super Bowl preview. Thoughts on Austin Wells and Anthony Volpe and Jason Dominguez. I think Dominguez is a little bit overhyped. I think he still needs some grooming and grinding. Volpe, I think he's going to be a solid hitter at the next level. Austin Wells, apparently it's turned around for him at catcher. So, and then Oswald Peraza, as far as he goes, I think he's going to be a very good shortstop for the Yankees. And Oswaldo Cabrera, I think he's going to be your Ben Zobrist type utility player. Yep, I did see that, Jeffrey, about the two Hall of Famers going, into the two Jets going to the Hall of Fame. That's Klecko and Darrelle Revis. Just wondering, because you potentially stream in March Madness. My spring break, I think, is a week in March. And I think it's probably the last week before opening day. But yeah, we're definitely talking in our own cahoots about streaming March Madness. That'd be Luca, John, Donald, and maybe some other people we get involved there. So there is that. But with that being said, I think we could start taking random fact of the day. The last time a player that won the NFL MVP and the Super Bowl in the same season was 1999, Kurt Warner. And it was the quote-unquote greatest show on turf. So there is that. Mine is the week of March Madness. Let's see when my spring break is. Academic calendar for St. Francis. And then we'll go into our Super Bowl picks, predictions, all that sort of good stuff. Let's see. Summer 2022, summer 2023. I think that's it. Let's see. Mine's in March, somewhere over the rainbow. March 13th to March 19th. So I don't know. Who do you like for the NBA? Shouts to Jacob, man. Have a good night.
Have a good night, Jacob.
Who do you like for the NBA? Well, I'm a Knicks fan. He's a Celtics fan. So we had a stream earlier today. I mean, I wasn't on it. But, yeah, the Lakers got some good pieces at the deadline. I mean, I'm not too much of an NBA fan. Like, I'm trying to get into it. But, I will talk facts when I know facts. The Lakers did get a couple of upgrades, though. So there's that. But start breaking in questions, comments. Keep pushing them through as we go through our Super Bowl show. Sox, I'm going to present some storylines to you. First African-American QBs in the Super Bowl. First brothers to face off in a Super Bowl. Battle of two MVP candidates. Obviously, now it's Patrick Mahomes with the MVP and number one scoring defense versus number one passing defense. What are your opening thoughts on this Sunday's game?
Yeah, I it's a surprise to me that not many people are giving the Chiefs a chance. Like, I haven't really made my pick yet. I haven't really thought fully into it. I think The Chiefs are going to have to get out in front early, I think, to neutralize that Philly attack. If Philadelphia gets out in front early, it's going to be tough because they neutralize that run. They use that run game really well. That offensive line is great, and it could go one of two ways. I think it's a shootout and Kansas City wins, or Philadelphia blows the brakes off of them.
Yeah, definitely. Rondé Barber, Tiki's brother, is also getting into the Hall of Fame. So there is that. But so this game, obviously, you take a look. You have an extremely talented Philadelphia Eagles team. Patrick Mahomes has been carrying the Chiefs pretty much all season. I mean, their defense has been mid. But you look at the weapons he's lost, and he's not dealing, he's not having the same amount of weapons, or I should say, to put it in better words, there's a ton of injuries on the weapons side of the ball for Mahomes. I mean, Kadarius Toney is suiting up, but he's still injured. Marcus Valdez-Scantling is the healthiest. Juju Smith-Schuster, we don't know if he's going to play. Sky Moore might have to take a couple of more snaps. And, there's a lot of matchups for mismatches for the Chiefs this game that might really make or break this game, like the Chiefs O-line versus the Eagles D-line. I mean, we struggled against them all times we played against them. And obviously we have an average O-line, but the Chiefs have an above average O-line, but the right side, in my opinion, is their weakness. So we could talk about, obviously, matchups if we do have time for it, but prediction time. And obviously there's some fun questions mixed into here. QB passing yards. How much for each passer and who has more?
I'll let you start that one.
Okay, so I think Patrick Mahomes gets 270. I think Jalen Hurts gets 230. I think Patrick Mahomes has more. Yeah, I did see that, Jeff. I know Revis was a New England Patriot.
285 for Patrick Mahomes and 254 for Jalen Hurts.
All right. Booyah says, what do you think the weak spots on the Giants are? Wide receiver, linebacker, interior offensive line. Oh, it should be assessed this offseason. But moving forward, over under, and maybe you could throw in a fun prediction in there as well. 1.142 billion wings were consumed for last year's Super Bowl. How many this year? And over under last year's amount too.
I'm gonna take the under because of food prices and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna say people are sticking with some easy snacks like chips and stuff, the poor people food. So I'll stick with that.
I'm gonna say the under as well. All right. I'm gonna save one of these questions till after. Who has more of each yards? Does Miles Sanders have more rushing yards, or does Isaiah Pacheco have more receiving yards?
Miles Sanders with more rushing yards. I think Pacheco might have a lot of rush yards as well, but I don't know about his effectiveness out of the backfield. I like Sanders to have more rush yards there.
Okay, so I think Miles Sanders is going to have more rushing yards as well. Will there be a ton of screens for the Eagles and the Chiefs, or very little?
I think the Chiefs are going to try to run it a little bit more, which goes to the Pacheco air attack question. But I think the offensive line for Philly is just going to really do what they want, honestly, for the most part. So I don't think they're going to have to run screens very much.
Okay, all right. I'm going to say that the Eagles stop the screens. So I'm going to say not a ton of screens. Booyah says, do you think Tom Brady will retire, or you think he's going to come back for one more year? I think he's done. I mean, there were questions about it. One of the questions I asked was, is he going to come out like he did against the Cowboys? Is he going to really go out like that? And he went out like that. So I think he's finally done.
Cooked.
He's cooked like the turkey on Thanksgiving. and he's going to go into retirement. Okay. Does Patrick Mahomes' lack of weapons drag him down or give him an opportunity to seize the moment and uplift the inexperienced talent around him?
You need weapons. I mean, you got to have weapons. Anytime you have weapons, it helps. If you don't have that talent there, obviously you're going to have to produce a little bit more. But, I think Patrick Mahomes can do that whether or not he has weapons.
So do you think he's going to seize the moment or struggle because of the lack of thereof of weapons?
He'll seize the moment.
Okay, all right. Now, obviously, this is actually because I said on Monday this was not a recorded statistic, and let's see. I said on Monday this wasn't a recorded statistic, but it is. Over under. Maybe this applies to you, Sox. 300,000 people call out sick and make a cop out for work because they are too drunk and hungover from this occasion.
Yeah, it definitely applies to me. I'm one of those people that's a dog, man. I don't care if I'm on my deathbed, I will roll up to work. There's been a couple times where you literally cannot go, and I'll admit it, I've called out a couple times, but it's got to take a lot from me. So no, the worst is after a company party, the day after the company party, and people call out sick. It's like, come on, man. I know you were having the time of your life on the dance floor last night, but I saw something interesting. Somebody said that they pushed the Super Bowl back to the middle of February. Why not just push out a little bit more? And then what's the holiday coming up? Let's just line it up so we have President's Day Monday off, and we'll call it good.
I think I just think that I think the day after the Super Bowl should be a holiday. If I was president, I'd make that a holiday. I said, you know what? Since we
opening day too.
Opening day, I don't think is as popular. I do agree. Like that would be a sports thing that I'd put in as president. But no, I would make. I mean, I'm off for opening day this year. So
same here.
Obviously,
if I my work closes for the Super Bowl too.
What happened?
My work closes on the day of the Super Bowl every year. So
that's a good occupation to have, especially if you're a sports fan. But yeah, over under 300,000.
Over.
I think the over as well. Who is the best player on the Chiefs and the Eagles? I'll start, and then I'll have Sox start. I think best player for the Chiefs obviously is Patrick Mahomes.
Let's take the quarterbacks out of it.
Okay. Travis Kelce or Chris Jones?
It's Kelce.
I'm going to stick to Travis Kelce as well. By this much.
The Eagles,
this one's tough.
That's a tough one. That is a tough one. Because you could say Kelce as well, honestly. You really could.
You could. Lane Johnson is also pretty good.
Lane Johnson.
James Bradbury has had a really good year. A.J. Brown is another player in the conversation.
I'll go with A.J. Brown.
Okay. Shit. Let me go Lane Johnson. Johnson. Pick. But good question, Booyah. All right. Next question is, who has more receiving yards, Travis Kelce or A.J. Brown?
Kelce.
I say A.J. Brown, unfortunately. Which side has more sacks? Name the players and the quantity. This one's a tough one to think about.
I think the Chiefs have more, and I think it's Jones, and I think he has 2.5 on his own.
Okay. Booyah says, who has the better pass rushers, Eagles or Chiefs? I'm going to say the Eagles do.
Eagles.
So, let's see how I put this. I think Josh Sweat gets half a sack. I think Hassan Riddick gets, let's go 2. I don't think there'll be much from the interior personally. even though Fletcher Cox is a wrecking ball, Jordan Davis is as well. So, I'm going to say the Eagles get more sacks. And I'm going to say Hassan Reddick leads it with 2. There'll be a couple individuals for each, but moving on. Who gets the first turnover in terms of like forcing a turnover? How many turnovers are committed? And what players do it with what quantity? So, for instance, for the Giants, like Xavier McKinney has 1 interception or something like that. But let's start off one by one. Who gets the first turnover?
Bradbury's going to get a pick for the first turnover. I think the Chiefs turn it over twice and the Eagles turn it over once.
Okay. I'll lead off of that a little bit. I think the Eagles get the first turnover. I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson gets a pick. There might be forced fumbles in there, but I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson gets a pick because Mahomes is usually good for 1. And then you said the Eagles get 2 and the Chiefs get 1 or vice versa. Who, obviously you mentioned Bradbury. What are the other 2?
I think Bradbury gets a pick, and I think Pacheco puts 1 on the ground.
Okay, and then for the Chiefs.
And for the Chiefs, I don't know who's going to get to the quarterback, but I feel like Mahomes might put it on the ground one time.
Well, in terms of...
Excuse me, Jalen Hurts is going to put it on the ground one time.
Okay. All right, so I said C.J. Gardner-Johnson would be 1. Okay. Let's see. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, we get a pick. I think the Eagles do turn it over once, and I'd say Frank Clark forced fumble. We got a pick, forced fumble. All right. If the Eagles lose, does their offensive coordinator Shane Steichen stay in Philadelphia?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say yes, too. Will the Eagles collapse if they lose?
Yes.
Will they be like a 1-year wonder?
Yes, just like they were last time they won.
I think not. I don't. Will they be Super Bowl every year? No, but I think they'll stick around for a while. Let's see. Cross positional matchups. Lane Johnson versus Frank Clark.
Lane Johnson.
Okay. I say, that's a good one, but I'll get to it after this question. Who will score first, and who will have more field goals?
Eagles score first. Chiefs have more field goals.
I'm actually going to agree with Sox on that one. Chiefs score first. Chiefs have more field goals, and the Eagles score first. So Lane Johnson versus Frank Clark. I think Frank Clark is going to take advantage. I think Frank Clark's going to take advantage a little bit. Not by much, though. Right tackle Andrew Wiley versus Hassan Reddick.
Riddick's a game changer. He's going to get to the quarterback a couple times, at least a couple hurries, if not a couple sacks.
I'm going to take Hassan Reddick, too, unfortunately. I just think that, I just think he overpowers the right tackle. Moving on to the next one. Orlando Brown, left tackle versus defensive end Josh Sweat. I think Orlando Brown locks it down.
I agree. Excuse the dogs upstairs. My upstairs neighbors are the absolute worst human beings alive.
Why?
They have at least 2 dogs that I know of, and I don't know if you can hear it, but they literally stomp on the ground as hard as they can. I can hear every single move they make.
So it's
like bowling balls constantly getting dropped on the ground.
Well, I mean, all I got to deal with just kids next door, but not bowling balls bouncing on the ground every single second. That's why I try, and you can't really do this in New York because it would be hella expensive, and I would have to get like a head coaching job or something. But I would love to get a house. But then again, like you're next to somebody as well, so You want to have the ability to make noise without disturbing somebody, and you don't want to be disturbed by somebody else's noise. So that's what I'm striving for. And I used to live in a bigger house, so there's that. Let's see. Travis, now against the Giants about a year ago, Travis Kelce was pretty much locked down by James Bradbury. Bradbury forced a fumble on him, even though we still lost the game. With that being said, Travis Kelce versus either C.J. Gardner-Johnson or James Bradbury.
Travis Kelce.
They
might get a route jumped. Maybe a route or two gets jumped, and maybe one gets knocked down or picked. But Kelce just knows how to find space, man. They communicate so well off the ball, non-verbally. I think he's going to dominate.
Yeah, Blue City is right. Brian Dable just won Coach of the Year. Absolutely correct. Trent McDuffie versus Devonta Smith.
Devonta Smith.
I agree. Devonta Smith is really, really fast. Jason Kelce and Isaac Sumalo versus Chris Jones.
I like Chris Jones a lot. I think he's going to be a disruptor here.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you. Even though I said Chris Jones wouldn't be, I think he'll win the off stats matchup. I really do.
Sure.
I really do. Let's see if there's anything else to go through before we get to score predictions. What's your defensive game plan for stopping these two quarterbacks?
That's a good question, man. I think they're very similar in ways, but they're also different. Like I feel like both these quarterbacks are still pocket passers, despite what people think about them. I think they can still beat you from the pocket if they have to. Jalen Hurts slings that ball. I mean, that thing is on a dot every time. The accuracy is not exactly there with him, although it is exceptional. I think Mahomes beats him in that department a little bit, but you just got to bend but don't break, in my opinion. I think that's what the Giants tried to do against the Eagles a little bit. I think they were a little bit too giving on the corners there for the most part in the two matchups in the regular season, and then the playoffs just kind of fell apart, obviously. But bend, don't break. It's going to be a shootout, high scoring, I think.
Good question by Booyah. We'll get to it. Good comment by Blue City. We'll get to it. So for Jalen Hurts, I think you got to blitz him. I think you got to play press against these wide receivers, and Dallas Goedert. He's tough to stop. You can't play. You cannot play. In my personal opinion, you can't play bend but don't break, because if they run it, it just shortens the amount of what do they call it? It's not margin of error. It shortens the margin of error, and the Chiefs have less. They can't make more than a few mistakes in terms of offense, and I think that would really mess up the game in terms of tone. With that being said, Mahomes, the way to, I would say, get to him, also pressure him, but at the same time contain him. Like there's two ways there's one way to contain, but two ways they could kind of get out of that. Jalen Hurts is more of a pure runner. I think you would agree with me on that. He's more of a pure runner, rushing yards. He's top 3 in rushing yards with quarterbacks. And then you compare, to Patrick Mahomes. He's not necessarily a running type of quarterback. He's mobile, but he's a guy that can flick the wrist, make these disgusting type throws, all over the field, no look passes. So containing both of them and the trenches are just going to be so important. And I just think there's more of a disadvantage on the Chiefs side because of the lack of weapons. For instance, possibly no Kadarius Toney. I mean, either way, it's a mismatch. But anyway, you go back to the Eagles; they can run it better than the Chiefs can. So That's just my opinion on that. Who has the better coach, and what do you think of the halftime show? Andy Reid is by far the better coach. Halftime show, I think it's better than ones they selected in the past. Doesn't mean I'm going to watch it though. Like last year, what did you think of last year's halftime show?
Last year, going into it, I was really, really excited. I think they kind of butchered it a little bit. A lot of people say it's their favorite of all time, but I think Tom Petty, The Boss, those are all my favorites of all time. The Prince one in the rain. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
I think last year was better than the years before because I can't remember off the top of my head what the years before were. But, just that type of throwback, even though I'm not necessarily someone who listens to a ton of rap, just saying. And they say Doug Peterson was going to win Coach of the Year. Some people must have been delusional. I mean, he took them to a playoff spot, after Urban Meyer and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, Brian Dable did more with less. Always going to stick to that.
For sure.
Let's see. Any more questions on the docket? No. So I guess let's start with this before original score predictions. Over under. Right now, I'm just going to make sure it's still at that number. Over under is at 51. Over under.
I think eventually, whatever team's out in front, I think eventually they're going to start to control the clock a little bit more. I think that's a little bit high.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say over. I'm going to say over for this one. Your score prediction.
What's the over under?
51.
25-22. And it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs.
I certainly hope so. What is your most favorite Super Bowl? Probably
42.
42, 46. But take the Giants out of it. What's your favorite? I really like last year's, I think, was very competitive.
Take the Giants out of it. I'll probably go with the 28-3 game, honestly, just because who I was with watching it and what happened. That was crazy.
I remember it because it was 28-3, and a friend of mine was a Giants fan. Another friend was a Patriots fan, and the dude kept ragging on my other friend. He's like, yo, what's going on now? What's happened to the Patriots now? And he the other dude was getting really pissed. Then it turned around, and then we all got pissed, and he ended up having the last laugh. But no, that was
another great Super Bowl is Steelers Cardinals. Man, that's one of my favorite matchups of all time.
Fortunately, I was not necessarily able to watch. I mean, I was 6 at the time. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you got the Antonio Brown to catch. Excuse me, Antonio Brown, Jesus Christ.
Santonio Holmes.
Santonio Holmes at the back of the end zone. My brother hates him, by the way, because he thinks he's an asshole. Because there was a story of where he was at a bowling alley or something, and the kid went up to him with a Steelers jersey, and he basically wouldn't sign the autograph for the kid. So,
yeah.
Interesting to say the least. But for my score prediction, I'm going to say 33-27 Eagles. I was called a traitor today because on a college show, it does hurt me. It does hurt me, but I have to be transparent in my own way. I think the Eagles, they don't have a lot of experience. They don't have a lot of talented experience in terms of like other teams. But I think they win this test and they prove everybody wrong. To be honest with you, Sox, and this is not Giant fans, this is like 49ers people. I don't understand why they're talking so much shit. Like you see, oh, if we didn't have a quarterback, if we had a quarterback, we would have beat their ass by a lot. Like just quiet.
That's what I cannot stand about sports fans is that it's like, man, you barely beat this team with this person. If we had this person, we would have won. Well, you didn't. It's who shows up on game day and who's healthy and who wants it more. That's how it is, And like the Philadelphia Eagles have proven that they are a solid team, and I think I picked the Chiefs, but I wouldn't be surprised if they steamrolled through this game, honestly.
Yeah. Brandon says, I'm here. How are you? 18-7 Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's talking score prediction or something along those lines. Yeah, 33-27 Eagles for me. Sox goes 25-22 Chiefs. And then who is your favorite football player of all time? I'd say Eli Manning. I would say Eli. Eli goes on my list. But to go back to his other question, because I was trying to think of something other than last year, even though, I mean, that's kind of recency bias. Let's see. The year before you had the Bucks Super Bowl, which was not enjoyable at all. The first one with Mahomes was obviously also, it was pretty entertaining. And then the game got taken away, trailed away in the Chiefs' favor. I hated that Rams-Patriots Super Bowl. I hated it. So anticlimactic. Year
Yeah, it was.
before, you have the Patriots lose to the Eagles. Didn't enjoy that one. I mean, it was fun to watch, but the fact that the Eagles were in it were just. The year before, you had 28-3. Hated watching that. Wasn't a big fan. Bless you, Sox. Wasn't a big fan of that Panthers Super Bowl. I mean, obviously, yeah, Peyton Manning rode into retirement, but I
liked
don't
watching
know.
that. I liked watching that one.
I have yet to memorize all of what happened there, but I would say 2019, the 2019 season one and the 2021 season one. Those are my top two favorites for and those are both years that the Giants fired their coach. So there's that. But also as well, kind of something. Obviously, it's not going to happen this year because he got kicked out by the Cowboys. But it seemed like every year since 2016, maybe even going back to. Let me just hold on. I'm going to see something real quick. 2004. Take this year out of it. Every single year, the Giants have hired a new head coach in the 21st century. Tom Brady has won a Super Bowl. 2004, 2016, 2018, 2020. Not this year, though. Not this year. What do you think of the Pats Seahawks Super Bowl? I was disheartened by it. I mean, I was kind of as a Giant. I mean, obviously the Giants were starting to not be competitive around that time, but also with that being said, as I like to say, I was sort of kind of tacking on to Russell Wilson and the Seahawks because I generally liked that team as a kid. Not that they were my favorite, just as a team I could, always kind of root for because, hey, they're like the Chiefs. They were like the Chiefs now, the Legion of Boom. Did you see the NBA logo Oreo cookies? Let's see what that looks like. Let's see. Yep, available for, let's see, what is this? 12 packs of those cookies start at $40. Nope. Not doing that. Not doing that. Did you hear Brady retired? Yes, and I am thankful. Though he did, it's before we get into our final thoughts, it seems like my and obviously yours a little bit as well. Late adulthood, my childhood's going away. Rodgers is near the end. Derek Carr is slowly near the end. Matt Ryan is basically dead meat.
Philip Rivers.
Eli's gone. Philip Rivers is gone.
Peyton.
Ben Roethlisberger's gone. Peyton's gone. So we're getting older. I mean, what are your thoughts
Aaron Rodgers.
on that? Aaron Rodgers. What are your thoughts on that?
When I was a kid, and I'll be honest with you, it is wild to see these guys hang it up because when you're a kid, I thought Eli Manning was going to be the Giants quarterback my entire life. I didn't know any different. And then you get older and you realize that they're human beings too. It's just like, yeah, my childhood is over. Welcome to adulthood. It doesn't get any easier.
Especially when you get past 30s, 40s, and even into your 50s.
Yeah.
No one wants to live that lifestyle. But Sox, final thoughts.
Yeah, good episode today. I'm excited for the Super Bowl, man. I can't believe another NFL year is come and gone. Last episode before the big game, so go Chiefs. That's all I can say. I don't want the Philadelphia Eagles to even come this close, let alone beating us in the playoffs on the road to another championship. NBA season officially starts for me after the Super Bowl, so I'm excited for that. And yeah, that's about it. Make sure you guys subscribe to all the channels in the description. Shout out to 1,000 subs for Big B Reactions. I appreciate that. Get Big Blue in the Bronx to 1,000. We'll be there before we know it, and we'll see you guys next week.
Who is doing the Red Sox games? I think he means commentators.
It is Euclid. I know Euclid just signed a deal What is his name? I'll pull it up right now. Go ahead, Alex.
Let's see. Euclid, Will Middlebrooks,
Will
Kevin
Middlebrooks. Yes.
A couple of those guys. Trying to figure out like the main dude. Is it Castiglione?
Yeah, Joe Castiglione.
Okay. All right. Good night, Hayes. Do you watch my best friend's a big NASCAR fan, was never really able to get into it. I got into it a little bit during the pandemic because there's no sports on. But before I go to my final thoughts, Sox, what is your Super Bowl atmosphere look like, and what are your favorite foods to consume at that point?
Depending on who's playing, if the Giants are ever in it, I gotta watch like by myself because I cannot stand people talking to me when the Giants are playing. If it's not the Giants, hey, give me all the food, give me all the drinks. Guys can talk all you want, except during the halftime. And please let me listen to the commercials. That's all I care about.
You listen to commercials like wings, pizza. Is that like
all the above, man? Give me an ice cold beer and a slice of pizza.
All right, very nifty. But final thoughts for me. Obviously, we're on our way to 1,000 here on Big Blue in the Bronx. So share out, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff. Go Chiefs for this weekend. We got baseball coming up. I think the pitchers and catchers report very, very shortly. Football season's coming to an end, but the NFL draft process and the free agent process, the offseason process, that's all starting, NBA and all that other stuff. We appreciate you guys tuning in. All the good stuff. I have a NASCAR game for the presentation. We appreciate you guys tuning in every single week. We have you every single week, whether it's baseball, football, whatever the fuck. We tend to go off script, but that's always a good thing. But thank you, Booyah. He says you guys have a good channel. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the comments, everybody.
Booyah. Appreciate it.
And we'll see you next time. Go Kansas City.